Hi everyone, I hope you're keeping well. Today's session is going to be about getting a little bit more support for the back. A lot of the time we complain of having a tired back or a weak lower back, and it may not be the back itself, it may be the muscular structures around those areas that aren't switching on correctly. So what we're going to do today is trying to wake up those inactive or unactive muscle groups and trying to get some more energy into them so that the back has more support and that the entire unit, the entire core structure will work properly. Okay, so we're going to start sitting down. You can do this position, you can have this on a chair, you can do this standing, whichever you prefer. I'm just going to take my arms and extend them out wide, watching the front ribs again, that they're not flaring out, watching that the chin is not sticking out. Take the hands to the back of the head, extend the arms out wide, and then take the hands behind the lower back. So what we're doing is we're trying to open up the chest. So if you can see the profile wise. Now, if by sitting here, like this may be uncomfortable for some of you, you can elevate yourself up, you can prop yourself up on a cushion or on a block, whatever suits. So we're trying to get broadness in the chest area. We're warming up through the shoulders. And we're trying to think of the elbows drawing back, okay? So trying always to think of, again, more space in the front of the body and getting activation in the shoulder blades. So we're dropping the shoulders down here, taking one hand onto the floor, I'm extending the opposite arm up. I reach, and then I reach over. I'm not forcing my pelvis into the floor, but I am trying to settle the two sit bones downwards. Breathing into this. Don't let the shoulder lift up. Trying to drop that shoulder down again. So space here on this side. Extend the arm up, release the hand down, then lift up and extend over to this side. So sometimes we're locked into positions for so long throughout the day that our body just becomes accustomed to that, and then they don't really want to work when they have to. So we're trying to get more movement in our bodies so that everything will sort of, they'll know their job, they'll know what's going on. Release, take your two arms forward, open up the shoulder blades, draw your chin to your chest. Lengthen through the neck, lengthen through the spine, lift up, sit, lengthening, really trying to get the spinal column to extend. Then bring it up, take your two arms behind, open up the chest, hands down, knuckles down to the floor, draw the shoulder blades back. Breathing into this. And then release that. Bring yourself into lying position. So we're going to travel through the movement nice and smoothly. Roll your spine down, vertebrae by vertebrae. Allow your back to melt into the floor. And allow your head to the neck to lengthen. So your chin is 90-degree angle there, perpendicular to the floor. Release your arms out from your shoulders. And then let your knees roll to the side. Two knees to the right side. Let the legs be heavy. Now, if they don't go all the way down, that's okay. Again, I say it every time, don't force anything. Trust your body, be careful with it. It will tell you what is going on. So just be mindful not to rush into anything, and don't expect your body to be able to do all these moves straight away. It may take a few times, a few practice runs. Let the knees roll to the other side. And then, we're just gently waking up, lengthening through this sideline of the body. Bring it back up to center. Take it to the first side again. Take the hands, bend the elbows. The palms are up, shoulder blades are down. And now you're just trying to reach your arms a little bit away. Maybe the two arms are too much. Maybe you want to just do one arm. Maybe you don't want to reach those arms at all. But allow your body to be heavy on the floor. Let gravity do its job, okay? Let it pull you down, let the stretch, let the weight of the body help open into that stretch. Bring it back into center. Now, again, I'm not rushing into deep positions straight away, so just give yourself a chance. If you have got really good flexibility, again, do what you need to do. We will advance into deeper poses, but, just give yourself a bit of time. Bring it back up to center. Extend this right leg, and then take your left leg and roll it over to the side here. And then if you want, take this right hand and gently encourage that knee downwards a little bit. Extend the left arm away and look over towards that left hand. the left shoulder blade is on the floor, both shoulder blades are on the floor and both shoulder blades are down into your back. Breathe into it and just try and encourage that sideline to open a little more, and this travels into the glute area. Obviously the obliques, there's a spinal rotation here as well. If you feel you can extend your leg, you can extend, but you know, again, work it to suit you. Never feel the need to progress until you're ready. Sometimes it's more beneficial to regress and then build up the foundation moves correctly before you push too hard into something deeper. So release the knee back into center. Bend the two knees, extend the left leg, and then take the right leg and cross it over. And you know, patience is key. So look over to this hand, two shoulder blades melted down. Notice if there is a difference on each side. If this glute is responding a little bit more, if there's more life in it. So, you know, just constantly ask the question, like, oh, see what's going on. Your body will answer you. And the more you listen to it, the better your body will become. And then gently release that back into center. Hug your two knees in. Roll your spine around a little bit. Give it a little massage here and reverse the circle. Or just go side to side, whichever feels best for you. This is very much about what you feel and how the movement is affecting you. So you can roll onto your side and push yourself up, or you can roll yourself into a seated position and then roll yourself over on to your hands and knees. So I want you to do a stretch here, spreading the fingers out wide. Your body is in a nice strong position here, and now I want to curl the tailbone. So you're doing a cat-cow. Let the tailbone draw downwards and let your belly pull in as your spine is opening up to the ceiling. Draw your shoulder blades wide on your back and allow your head to hang down. So feel that stretch travel through the body. And then let your tailbone float up. Let your belly lower. Let your rib cage, the front ribs draw down. Let your sternum draw forward. Let your shoulder blades draw down your back, and let your gaze come forward, okay? Just do one more here. Curl your tailbone under. Really think of, visualize what's going on, vertebrae by vertebrae by vertebrae. Not just 1, 2, 3 sections, bit by bit. Really think of it millimeter by millimeter rather than just, you know, taking bigger sections. Really think small. Breathe into it. Fill up the back of your body. Let your tailbone be heavy. Really get the shoulder blades wide. And then let your tailbone lift up. Let your pelvis dip down. Let your belly button draw down. Let your sternum draw forward. Let your shoulder blades draw down your back and your gaze be forward. And then bring it into neutral. So neutral is where, you know, there will be a slight curve in the lower back, but there's a bracing. I want you to brace the core so that you have, the idea is when you move your arms and your legs, the pelvis is not rocking and rolling and going side to side. You want to brace the core so that the pelvis stays in a neutral position. So we're going to anchor ourselves here again. Shoulder blades down, lengthen the neck. Inhale here, and I extend my leg away. And as I extend the leg away, the distance here between the hip and the rib has not altered, okay? So I want to keep the idea of this switching on, right? If this space increases, it means my belly has dropped and my pelvis has lost its neutral position, and therefore my back is loading. I would like the glutes to do the work here and the core, the deeper core muscles, the transverse abs, they need to switch on. So I lift my leg here. It doesn't have to be too high. Sometimes people lift too high and then the back says no. Bend the knee here. We're just going to do a three-way move here. So we're going to lift the heel, but the pelvis has not moved, so you don't have to lift too high. You're actively working the glute here. We take the knee down. We take it out wide. Bring it down, and we bring it in a little bit. It won't travel too far. We take it down, we lift it up, bring it down, bring it out, bring it down, bring it in. 2 more each way. Lift it up, squeeze it glute, bring it down, bring it out, bring it down, bring it under. Give me 1 more, lift, down, out, pull the belly in, keep it strong, and under. Bring it in and lift it, release it down, curl the toes under your heels, lift up your knees, and then draw your hips back. Roll the heels back and down. Try and get a stretch here. Bring your body forward, release the knees down, let your knees out wide, let your body sit back. Let's get a little stretch here, release the hands, rotate the wrists if you need. If the wrists are tired, just give them a little bit of a breather. And again, let your tailbone sit back into the floor, really let it anchor downwards. Okay, bring your body back up again. Same thing, opposite side. Brace your core, lengthen your spinal column, draw the head away. Get the shoulder blades down into your back. Extend the leg. Firm here. Lift your leg. The glutes are on. Keep the pelvis as steady as you can. Bend the knee. Breathe into this. Bring the knee down. Bring it out. Bring it down. Bring it under. Pull the belly in. Bring it down. Lift it up. Flex your foot. Bring it down. Bring it out. Bring it down. Bring it under. Some people will think that the bigger the range of movement, the better the movement is. It's not the case. You need to have stability. You need to have control. Lift it up. Bring it down, bring it out. Bring it down, bring it under. Bring it down. Curl the toes, lift up the hips, roll the heels back, stretch out through the legs. Roll the heels up and down. Now I have shoes on today. You can do this without shoes, obviously, whatever works. Zip your belly in. Keep the rib cage on. Bring your body weight forward again. Release the knees. Release your body back. Rotate the wrist. Loosen up the wrists if you need. Give your wrist a little breather. You know, try and get movement in the wrists as well. If your head can touch the floor, just let it rest there for a moment. And really let your tailbone sit back. Push against the floor so that you get a deeper sense of stretch in that lower back. Now bring your body weight forward again. We're going to change it ever so slightly. So hollow out the core. Extend the leg away. Keep the shoulder blades down. Keep the midsection strong. Keep the pelvis even. Float the leg up. Now, as you see, like I feel this in the glute. I'm bracing my abs. I'm imagining that I have a corset here or a belt on around my midsection. So I'm keeping it in strong all the way around. And then if you can, you extend the opposite arm. And I am really making this hand into a fist. So I'm trying to switch on all up through my arm, and that will travel down through my back and all the way to the foot. Okay, so I'm on here. I bring the hand under, pull in, pull the belly in, hands touch the knee, and then extend. Lengthen the leg, pull it under, and lengthen away. If this is too much, you don't have to do the hand part, you can just do the leg. Okay? Under and extend. One more. Bring it under and extend. Now release the knee down. Take this hand. The bicep is facing into your by your ear. Down and out. So you're doing a square here. This arm is working also, of course. Reverse the square. Tension in the arm. Strength in the arm. The idea of working. And then bring the hand down. Release the shoulders down again. Take your body back. Take your hands down by your sides. Let your shoulder blades draw away from your ears. Let your shoulders draw down. Shoulder blades drawing down into your back pockets. Really round your spine here. Give it a moment. Use your hands to help open up the neck area a little bit more. You're not pressing your head into the floor. You're very light on the head. You're just creating a little bit more of a C here. Bring your hands back, curl your tailbone under, bring your body up, roll the shoulders here, take your two hands behind, open up the chest. So we're trying to get as much movement in the body as we can, changing from flexion to extension to rotation, a lot of stuff going on. Release your body forward, get the shoulder blades down again, stabilize through the core, neutral pelvis, breath is even, extend the opposite leg. Lengthen the leg. Get the pelvis to line up as best you can. And then take the arm, extend. Palm facing inwards, bicep by the ear. Hollow out, breathe. Bring the hand under, knee under, and then extend away. Drive through that arm. Reach and strengthen through that arm. Get the shoulder blade to strengthen. Pull it in. Now when I extend my arm, the upper arm is still like, you know, it's still drawn into this, it's plugged into the shoulder socket. So you're not extending out wide, you're staying strong within the shoulder, okay? Pull it under and extend. Hollow it. Pull it under, pulling, and extend. Release the knee down, then take the arm into a square. There's a lot of work. It looks probably, well, I'm not sure what it looks like, but it may look easy. But I'm telling you, when you work it correctly, there's a lot more involved. And you know, you might be inclined to sit back here. Try not to if possible. If the wrist here is getting tired or sore, you can change it into knuckle position so the wrist remains in neutral. Okay, and release your hands down. Get yourself back, sit here again, take your hands behind. Grab your feet, round your spine. And then let your tailbone down as you bring your body up. Rolling your shoulders here. And rolling over onto your back. We're hugging our knees into our chest here again. Turn the head side to side. Loosen up the neck. You know, so really try and get every part of the spinal column to get a little bit of movement. Release the right leg down. Take your left leg up. So when you're here, you really are anchored in your pelvis. So imagine your pelvis is very heavy on the floor. As you move your arms and your legs, the pelvis doesn't rock and roll. There may be a slight space underneath the lumbar spine, but that's not altering. So you're not pushing, you're not allowing the space to increase. You're not letting the ribs flare, and you're not letting the pelvis rock away. So your pelvis, the sacrum there is nice and steady on the floor. The back of your rib cage is down. The front of the ribs and the hips are drawing into each other. The leg is elevated, and then I take one hand or two hands and I press against the leg. Now as I press against the leg, the leg is pressing against the arm and the hands are pressing the leg away. It's all switching on, and that might be enough. If it's enough for you, that's fine. Stay with that. Don't feel the need to progress if you're not feeling ready, okay? Breathe into it. So, you know, do maybe 10 seconds and then you can release it. Hug your knee in. If you feel you can do a little more, you can extend the opposite leg, more challenging, and then press again. If you start doing this and you say, no, my back is too tired or it's not ready, you bend the foot again, you bend the knee again, and you bring it back into the stable position, okay? So then slowly release that, release the foot down, and then change over to the opposite side. Hand onto leg, press the leg away. It's important always to understand you are in control and you must take charge of it. You must, you know, respect the body as you do this. And then you release it, breathe throughout, of course. You can extend this leg away and try this side. See what you can manage. Again, it's all about having a good position for the pelvis and the lower back is not loading. Okay, release, bring that knee in, bring the two legs in, hold it here. Just have the knees over the hips. Have the lower leg out from the knees, hollow out the core, and float your arms. Even if you don't progress beyond this, even if you stay with this, for a while it may be enough. Okay, breathe into, keep the core strong, and take one arm back, and bring it up, and then take the opposite arm back. So right now, if you feel this is too much on that area, you release your feet down one at a time. So there's a lot of work in this, okay? So one arm at a time. Inhale back, exhale back up. Inhale down, exhale up. Watch the ribs. And then if you feel you can, you bring the legs up again if they haven't been up for already. And then you take one heel down and up, and then the left heel down and up. Breathe into this. And then if you can, you take the heel on the arm, opposite arm to leg, back up to center. Opposite arm to leg, exhale back to center. Inhale downwards, exhale. Inhale down, exhale up. Inhale down, exhale up. Inhale down, draw it up, pull it in. One more each side. Up. Inhale down, exhale up. And then hug your knees in. Turn your head side to side, loosen up the neck. Give yourself a little bit of a breather here. Release your feet down and roll onto your side facing forward. Taking your elbow directly underneath your shoulder, and we're going into a side bend. So the side bend, you can have your knees bent here, or you can do it with the full legs, long legs. The heels and the hips, the pelvis and the shoulders should be lining up with the back edge of the mat, and the elbow directly underneath your shoulder. If it's too far out, you're taking too much pressure on the shoulder joint. You need to stack yourself up and set yourself up well. Hand onto the floor here, breathe in, and then exhale as you lift. You lift up, and so you're drawing, the glute medius is working on this side. So this is what I'm talking about, the muscle structures that support the back. The glutes are a very large muscle group, and they need to work. And because we sit so much, and I know I've said this many, many times, we sit so much throughout the day that the glutes tend to sort of just, they don't really want to do much. So therefore, the lower back is loading more. It's taking more pressure. It's taking more of a load, of a workload. So it needs to have support. So glute medius is working here to lift you up. You're not, watch the top shoulder doesn't fall in. Hold it here. Even squeeze your glutes. Breathe into it. You can release it down and then take it up again. So maybe you might hold it for, 10 seconds or so, and then release it and then take it up again. Bracing this lower side. Hip to rib, hip to rib. Top side lifting up. Release. And do this maybe 5 or 6 times, or maybe 10 seconds, maybe 6 times. You can extend your top leg if you want. Okay? That might make it more of a challenge. And if you feel you can extend your 2 legs, lifting up. Okay, and obviously you can progress higher, but don't push too far or too fast. Okay? Release that down, bring it over to the opposite side. So the same idea applies. We're positioning ourselves well, we're aware of how we line out our body. Inhale here, exhale, lift. Switch on the glutes. Pull the 2 front hip points inwards. Get the lower side of the rib cage to lift up the top side. Keep the top shoulder down and back. Release it down. Bring it up again. You can extend your top leg if you want. Squeeze the glute on the lower side. Sometimes if you decide I'm going to hold it for 30 seconds or whatever, if you feel that the quality of the movement is deteriorating, if you can't hold it with good integrity, you need to shorten it. So it's better to do it a few times, a few cycles of it with good positioning, rather than doing it for longer with poor technique. So really lift and brace this lower side. Watch the head doesn't collapse as well. Feel the lengthening of the neck, lengthening of the tailbone. Okay, release that down. So as I said, maybe 10 seconds and do it up to 6 times as often as you can. Really, the obliques are very important to help support the back. Okay, so bring yourself over. We're going to go into a little stretch for the hamstrings and hip flexors. And the reason we do this, because our pelvis can be, pelvis itself doesn't have the structures, like the pelvis should be in a neutral position, but it won't be if there's an imbalance in the muscular structure. So if you have very short hip flexors, if you are sitting a lot in this sort of hinged position, it's very difficult for these to actually release the pelvis into neutral. So we need to lengthen the hip flexors. Hamstrings tend to be a little bit, they can either be very long, very tight. Stretching them may not really be the thing to do, but we can make it an active stretch and make them work a little bit better. So I have a double mat here, so my knees are okay. There's cushioning underneath. But if you find that the knees are sensitive, or you need a little bit more comfort underneath the joints, you can fold up the mat, okay, for a little bit extra. So from here, I'm going to bring one leg forward. I'm going to take my hands down and bring it forward and back. This will be familiar to most of you. I'm just rocking and rolling through it so that the muscle gets a little bit of an idea of what's coming on. You know, there's going to be a stretch on both the hamstring and the hip flexor. So, and I'm watching the shoulders are not collapsing either. I'm not letting my upper body just switch off. I'm trying to keep a little bit of firmness in my core. And as you do this, this might be enough for you. Maybe you don't feel the need to stretch. You don't want to feel too much in that stretch. You can just continue with this for a while if you want, okay? So if possible, then you take your body back. You hold here. If you need to sort of have a little extra support, you have blocks on either side here, a book or something just to elevate your upper body. So what we don't want is this rounding of the spine. We want to lengthen the spine, drawing the sternum forward. Pull the shoulder blades down and then soften your knee a little bit if you want. Roll the toes up. And imagine there's a hook on the base of your foot and the hook is pulling the heel away. The pelvis will move, you know, a little bit. Try not to have it sort of swinging out to the side. Keep yourself 2 hip points forward as best you can. Inhale here as the sternum draws forward. Exhale as you draw your upper body forward towards the leg. Imagine that my right leg is in front. Imagine the left side of the rib cage is drawing over towards the leg. So that deepens the stretch even more. Breathe into that. That may be enough. The hamstring is really lengthening. Now I want you to press the heel down into the floor and imagine you're dragging the heel back towards the hip. There's a lot of work involved in that. That's a little bit more active. It's activation. And release the leg. So again, don't force that, but try and feel that a little bit more. And then bring the knee back again, bring the foot back onto the floor, try and get a stretch here, and then bring it back one more time. Walk your hands to the outside of the leg. Again, use a block if you want. So there's a little bit more stretch down the sideline of the body here. And then bring your hands to the center and walk your hands to the opposite side. It just changes the stretch. Now there are more advanced versions, but you know, we're just going for basic stuff today. Bring it back, bend the knee. Bring this foot back a little bit if you need to, bring your body up. Bring your hip forward and back here. Okay, so try and get a little bit more length in the hip flexor of the back leg. Squeeze here, squeeze a glute, and then draw it forward. Take the arm and lift it up. Inhale, reach for the sky, keeping the glutes strong and draw the hip forward a little bit more. And then exhale to the side. So you're getting a stretch through the obliques, through the hip flexors, into the quads. And then release your arm down. Bring your body forward again. Now the next bit, it is a challenging stretch. So you don't have to do it, but again, I'm just going to demo it and see what you feel like. So you bring your body forward and you lift up your back foot. This is why the knee needs a bit of cushioning. You can take your hand behind. So you can take your heel, bring it up. You can have one hand on the foot, drawing the foot in, or the 2 hands, opening the chest. Keep your head high, pull your belly in, pull the belly in, don't let it collapse. Keep the spine, keep the back supported. Really drawing that heel in so there's a deeper stretch in that quad, that hip flexor of the leg, of this leg. Release and release. Bring your body up and then change sides. Oops. Take your hands down, bring your body forward and back. Same thing, rocking and rolling. Trying your best, just, take time to do even this on a daily basis will help your back. It's just giving a bit more movement into areas that should be moving regularly. Okay, again, draw it back, hold here, and then roll your toes up. If you can't, if the leg will not extend, if it's bent at the knee right here, that's okay. bit by bit by bit, doing a variety of different movements or a variety of different stretches, it will help. It will. Be positive about this. Be optimistic. We have to be optimistic. So your toes are drawing back. The heel is pulling away. Whew. You can feel that. Well, I can feel that. Shoulder blades are down your back. You're not rounding your spine. Press the heel down. Pull the heel back. Imagine you want to rip that mat up. Active work here. Breathe into that. Release it. Then creep your fingers forward a little more if you can. And as I said with the first side, you can have yourself elevated here. You can be up here high in a prop on each side. It may help. Then take your two hands to the inside. Now to get more advanced, you can do a rotation of the foot, but just, you know what, just do what you need to do. Don't sit all the way down into your back heel. I mean, there are positions for this, but I don't want you to do that because it's too much pressure on the knee that's underneath you. Bring your hands back to center and then change sides. Walk it over to the opposite. Feel the stretch lengthen on this side of the body. Everything is connected, right? So, you know, you want to really get more awareness in the body. Breathe into this side of the rib cage as you have the opportunity. Bring it back to center and then bring it down, the foot down. And then bring it back and forward again. Okay, trying to, again, just give it a chance. You can roll the foot up, you can move whatever way you want. Bring your body up here and adjust your position. Squeeze through the glute. Wake up to the pelvis, lengthen it down, lengthen the tailbone, make the tailbone heavy. Get the shoulder blades down, lean, squeeze in glutes, draw it forward. Just a little bit. The more you actively work the glutes, the more the hip flexor is going to create, there's more space in this side of the body. Take the arm up, lift up, inhale. Inhale, reach, 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 and then extend over. Trying to get a little deeper if you want. All the way through the side. Nice and smooth with the breath. And then bring it back up. Release the arm down. You can adjust it a little bit more if you want. Again, support, padding under the knee if you want. Take that heel up. Drawing the heel up, squeeze the glute. Lean your upper body forward a little bit if you want. Or you can take your two hands and lift your sternum up. But keeping the firmness here in the core. Watching the front ribs are not flaring. And really get length here. And if you can't grab your foot, you can grab your leggings. Leggings, or have a towel or a strap around the foot and help let that assist you. So again, trying to be aware of how to make it work for you as best you can. And then release that down. And release this leg back. Sit back into the heels just for a moment. Balance out through the hips. Walk your hands to the side. Extend. Creep your fingers over. Allow your head to rest. Allow your head to just relax. And then bring yourself back to center. And then take it to the opposite side. Waking up here. All the way down through the lats, down the sideline of the body. Bring it back into center. And bring your knees here. Now, we're going to go into a pigeon pose, and sometimes, you know, a lot of people will go into pigeon pose from down dog, downward facing dog, and that is great, but some people may not have the ability to do that. So we're going to try a different way of getting into the pose. So I'm taking onto my hands and knees here, and I take one leg and I bring it behind me as I walk my upper body to the opposite side. And I slide myself down. Now, if you're stuck here and you can't get any lower, bend the back knee and help yourself down, letting the back leg help, okay? So you can have the back knee bent, and that's absolutely fine. You're trying to think of the upper body going to the front edge, the bottom end of the mat, and then if you feel you can extend the leg, you extend it. You can have your upper body up here. There's so many options. I could go on all day about options here. This knee shouldn't feel pressure. If you need to adjust it, you lean off it and adjust it using your hand. What we don't want is this sort of up here on that shin. We're not lying on we're not resting on the shin. We're supposed to rest on the side of the leg. Your upper body inhales here, and you exhale as you draw your body forward. And walk your hands forward here. So as I said, you can have the back knee bent if you want. Allow the body weight to rest downwards. Now press, if you can, press this leg into the floor. This is what I'm talking about, activation. So by just hanging into this and letting your body sink down, that's great. There's a stretch, there's a lot of opening going on. But when you press, there's an activation. So it's really working the muscle to wake it up, to make it do a job, okay? So when you're doing that activation, do it for a few seconds, release it, breathe in, do it again. And then if you feel you can, walk your upper body towards the knee. So again, we're not just thinking of this being a lower body position or stretch, we're thinking of the upper body working also. Walk your hands to the opposite side. And if you find that it's too much, just bring yourself into it slowly and in a shorter range. So you can just go from here to here, you know? Or you can have the knee bent here to here. It's a very beneficial position, I should say. Bring your body up and walk your hands back to center and walk your knee to center. And then take the opposite leg and slide it behind and bring it back to the opposite side. So when you're here, try, again, it's not easy. If this is enough for you, this is perfectly fine. But if you can, bring the knee towards your arm and bring the foot up towards the opposite hand. You let your hips sink down. The back leg is extended. The top of the foot presses down, and look, I'm talking about this as being the full expression of the position of the pose. I'm pressing my back leg down, which encourages the back hip, the hip of the leg, the long leg, to draw down towards the floor. My sternum is drawing forward. I'm not rounding my spine. I can stay here. Breathing into it, or I can walk my hands forward and creeping my body forward and allowing my upper body to actually help with the stretch. I can rest my head down. Again, any of these options, you don't have to go for them, just do what you need to do. And then if I can walk my hands over, stretching on this side. You might find maybe you have one side of the back that's more problematic than the other. Just, you know, be careful, work it to suit you. Bring it back to center, walk it to the opposite side. If you have the time, you know, if you have the inclination to do a few more movements side to side, go for it. You know, the more you put in, the more you get out, once you're careful. You know, and you might be waking up an area that hasn't felt movement like this in a long time. So, you know, just if you feel something peculiar in your body after it, just, you know, listen to it and figure out, is it a good feeling? Is it something that has benefited you? Walk your hands back up, curl the toe under, lift up. And this time we're just going to take this leg, press to our arms, hollow out the core, and then extend the leg away. Make it strong here. Hold here, nice and strong with the position. Breathe in, lift up to the hips. So you're balancing out the pelvis again. Pull your belly button in, right in, draw it in, draw the front ribs down, spread the fingers, try and get the shoulder blades wide, allow the head to hang. Firm your legs, pull it in, make it work. If the heels are not on the floor, it doesn't matter. You know, you're just aiming for them to lengthen down. So you're balancing out here. You're getting an even stretch on the hamstrings. You're getting an even position as best you can on the pelvis. You get even length on your back and your arms. Then bring your body weight forward. Release the knees down. We're just going to lower ourselves down. Bring our elbows underneath our shoulders. So again, we're doing a little bit of an extension on the spine. Lift shoulder blades down. Breathe into that. And then just release it down here. Take your arms out from your ears. Face looking down, feet are hip distance apart. We're just going to swim a little bit. So we're going to float the right leg up and then the opposite arm up. Now, if by doing the arms and legs together it's too much, just do either one. Like you can do an arm, a leg, and a leg. Or you can just do the legs on their own. Or, you know, you can do a leg and an arm. So again, you're lengthening the crown of your head, you're lengthening the head away, you're lengthening the tailbone away. You're hollowing out the belly, you pull the belly button in, you release and then you change. And then you release and then you change. Okay, so you change, you're lengthening and lifting all the time. So the back is not, the belly is not dropping down so that the back is not taking the load. If your belly drops down, your back is taking too much pressure. You need to think of lengthening your tailbone. You know, having your pelvis in a nice neutral position. So never work if there's a soreness here in the lower back, don't push through it. Stop and rest it and, you know, figure out what's going on. One more each side. And release it. Roll yourself over onto your back. Hold it here for a moment. Just move, just let your back roll it into the floor. Relax your shoulders down. Take your right ankle and cross it over your left leg. Breathe in and then let the two knees roll to the right side. And allow this top foot to gently press into this lower leg. So the QL, the quadratus lumborum in the back, up through the sideline of the body is really, really lengthening. Imagine the knee is being pulled away. Just visualize that knee being pulled to the other side of the room. And then if you feel you want to add more, this arm is being pulled to the opposite side, like two opposite corners. And again, if you can't extend your arm fully, just leave it bent. If you can, press down to our don't. I know I keep saying this, but take charge of it and work it to suit you. Breathe into it and like hang here for a little bit. Let gravity help sink into the position. Okay? And then slowly bring your arm down, bring your knee back in and change sides. Ankle on top and then let the two knees rotate to the side. Let this arm extend out, draw the knees away. I feel a big difference on each side here. And I do this a lot and it's amazing how I feel it on certain days in different ways. So, you know, if someone's doing it all the time and I feel it, then I can only imagine what it feels for you. So just be patient and don't push too hard. And then take this arm and reach it away. Try and get a little bit more length. Always think of increasing the space in your body so that you can increase the strength. If the space is really tight and restricted and sticky, stuck in those areas, you won't be able to build strength. It's really is by creating more movement that we can create more strength in our bodies all the time. Just remember that. And then bring it back up to center. Release the foot. Hug your two knees in. Roll yourself side to side. Take your knees out wide and just let the hands push the knees out wide here just for a little stretch on the inner thighs. Really important. Bring the knees in. You can roll onto your side and roll up, or you can roll yourself up sitting here. Bring yourself facing forward. Take your legs out wide and then bend the right footing. Take your two hands onto the floor here. Allow yourself to sink down into your pelvis. So again, you're not sort of rocking over. And the same idea as I said at the start. If this is really uncomfortable for you to sit like this in this position, prop yourself up with a cushion or a blanket or anything to elevate the pelvis will help the lower back maintain a good position. Hands onto the floor here. Flex your foot if you can. Inhale and exhale, creep your hands forward. It doesn't have to be too far. Don't feel the need to push too far. And then bring it back up. Release this leg and then change over to the opposite side. Sit up tall. Rotate. The hips stay forward more or less, but the upper body is rotating from the hips up. Inhale, exhale, creep it forward. Walk your hands back up. Bend the knee, bring it to center. Sit up here. Take one hand up, reach up and take your hand to the opposite knee and rotate here, lifting up the crown of the head, lifting up through the spinal column. The tailbone is drawing down, the sit bones are anchoring as best you can. Bring it back to center. Inhale here, hand lift up and reach behind, lift up. Get the shoulder blades down away from your ears. Really, really lengthen your neck. Look over the head, shoulder. If you find it turning the head, if it's too much pressure on the neck, don't force. Release it back to center. Inhale here, exhale, creep your hands forward. Allow your upper body to lower down as far as you feel you can. Make a mental note as how far you can go and see if you can increase on that as time moves on. Walk your hands to the side here. Again, lengthening to the sideline. Bring it back to center. Walk to the other side. And all those little tiny structures that run up through the spinal column, that run along each side of it, that help to keep it in a good position. We're trying to really stretch them out so that we can really work properly. Bring it back to center. Release the body up. Roll your shoulders. Draw your 2 feet in and then roll yourself onto your feet. So sit down here for a little bit if you can. Again, if the heels are elevated, that's okay. Lift your tailbone up and then let your heels roll down if they're not down already. Leave your knees soft and let your upper body hang here for a moment. Let the head hang. Let the shoulders relax. Let gravity help you out here. Let the weight of the upper body help stretch through these areas. Now hollow out the core, pull your belly in. And let your tailbone draw down as you really carefully rebuild. Keep the core strong, walking your hands up until you bring your body up and you lift your head high. Roll your shoulders here and down. Take your 2 arms, float them up, lift up. So the idea of that session is about waking up areas that may be a little sleepy. Trying to make the body work so that the back is not being overloaded. Okay? Trying to get a little bit more balance. One more time. Taking it up, take it out, take it down, roll your shoulders. So I hope that was helpful and that it gives you a bit more knowledge of what's going on in your body. Okay, take care. See you soon.